Imagine this: two candidates walk into the same job interview. Both graduated from respected universities, both have impressive resumes, and both are equally qualified on paper. Yet as the interview begins, something becomes obvious. One candidate answers questions with long, tangled sentences, sprinkling in big words that don't quite fit. The other speaks with confidence, short, sharp answers that are clear, precise, and easy to follow. By the end of the interview, the hiring manager isn't just impressed with the second candidate's credentials, but with the way they communicate. Who do you think gets the job offer? Moments like this happen every day, not just in interviews, but in meetings, classrooms, presentations, and even casual conversations. The ability to speak smartly in English is not about sounding like a walking dictionary. It's not about memorizing the most complicated vocabulary or trying to impress people with academic jargon. Speaking smartly means communicating your ideas in a way that makes people want to listen. It means being clear, confident, and persuasive without wasting words. In this article, you will discover how to speak English in a way that makes people stop, listen, and respect what you say. Whether you're preparing for a job interview, delivering a presentation, or simply chatting with friends, these strategies will help you sound not just fluent, but truly smart. When people hear the phrase "speak smartly," they often imagine using sophisticated vocabulary, quoting famous philosophers, or sounding like a walking encyclopedia. But that's not what truly makes someone sound smart. Speaking smartly means communicating your thoughts in a way that is clear, precise, and confident so that others not only understand you but also trust and respect what you say. The first element is clarity. A smart speaker doesn't hide behind complicated language. Instead, they strip away unnecessary clutter and get to the heart of the message. If you explain an idea in plain, direct English, people will remember it. If you bury it under long words and confusing grammar, they won't. The second element is precision. Speaking smartly means choosing the right words for the right moment. Precision is what makes your message sharp and impactful. Think of it like aiming an arrow. When your words hit the target exactly, people nod in agreement because they know exactly what you mean. The third element is confidence. Even the clearest and most precise words can lose their power if delivered in a hesitant, timid way. Confidence doesn't mean arrogance, it means speaking with a calm assurance that your ideas matter. Consider the example of a CEO addressing a room full of employees. Instead of delivering a long speech filled with corporate jargon, she says just 10 words: "Our future is strong because we believe in each other." In that single sentence, she communicates clarity, precision, and confidence, and her team walks away inspired. That's what it means to speak smartly. It's not about complexity, it's about impact. If speaking smartly is about clarity, precision, and confidence, then what are the traps that make people sound the opposite, confusing, unsure, or even pretentious? The truth is, many of us fall into these mistakes without realizing it. The first mistake is rambling. Instead of getting straight to the point, some speakers wander in circles, repeating the same idea with different words. This doesn't make you sound thoughtful, it makes you sound unprepared. Imagine someone asking, "What's your opinion on the project?" And the response is 3 minutes of scattered thoughts that could have been said in one clear sentence. By the time they finish, the audience has already tuned out. The second mistake is overusing filler words like and you know. Everyone uses them occasionally, but when they flood your sentences, they chip away at your credibility. Instead of sounding confident, you come across as nervous or unsure. Smart speakers replace those empty fillers with intentional pauses that create impact. The third mistake is trying too hard to sound smart by using big, complicated words. You may think that dropping terms like utilize, ameliorate, or synergistic paradigm makes you sound intelligent. But if your audience doesn't understand, you've lost them. Picture this: a young employee in a meeting wanted to impress the executives. He packed his presentation with long, academic words, hoping to sound sophisticated. Instead, the room grew restless. The manager finally interrupted and said, "Can you just explain this in plain English?" In that moment, the employee realized that trying to sound smart actually made him look unprepared. Avoiding these mistakes is the first step toward speaking smartly. Because the smartest speakers are not the ones who use the fanciest words, they're the ones who make people listen. Imagine you're listening to two speakers at a major tech conference. The first one dives into complicated jargon, layering phrase after phrase, until half the audience is secretly checking their phones. The second speaker, however, delivers a single, short sentence: "Technology should make life easier, not harder." Suddenly, the room is alive. Heads nod. People lean in. That one sentence cuts through the noise like a laser. This is the power of simplicity. Speaking smartly doesn't mean showing off your vocabulary or constructing long, academic sentences. It means expressing ideas in a way that sticks. Steve Jobs mastered this art. Remember when he introduced the iPod as 1,000 songs in your pocket? No tech jargon. No unnecessary words. Just a clear image everyone could understand instantly. Or take Barack Obama, whose speeches often carried lines like, "Yes, we can." 3 words, yet they ignited hope across a nation. Short, sharp, unforgettable. Why does simplicity work so well? Because the human brain craves clarity. Listeners don't want to decode your message, they want to feel it, grasp it, and remember it. When you strip away the clutter, your ideas shine brighter. The lesson is simple: the smartest people make the hardest ideas sound easy. If you want to speak smartly in English, don't complicate, clarify. Words are tools. Use the wrong one, and your message feels clumsy. Use the right one, and it cuts clean, sharp, and memorable. Speaking smartly in English doesn't mean reaching for the longest word in the dictionary, it means choosing the most precise word for the moment. Think about this: I will purchase a new laptop versus I will buy a new laptop. Both are correct, but buy is shorter, stronger, and more natural in everyday American English. Or take I will assist you, compared to I will help you. The first sounds stiff, the second feels genuine and warm. The smartest speakers know when to simplify and when to elevate. Picture a team meeting. An employee is presenting a project update. Instead of saying, "We attempted to ameliorate the ongoing issues within the system," she simply says, "We worked to fix the problems in the system." The room relaxes. Everyone understands her instantly. Her manager later tells her, "I appreciate how clear you were today." That moment of recognition didn't come from using big words, it came from using the right ones. Smart vocabulary choices are about balance. Too simple, and you may sound vague. Too complex, and you risk sounding pretentious. The key is accuracy. Choose words that fit the context and the people you're talking to. Remember this golden rule: don't aim to impress with words, aim to connect. The smartest vocabulary is the one that makes others trust, remember, and act on what you say. Even the clearest words can lose their power if delivered without attention to tone, speed, and pauses. These elements are the invisible tools that make a speaker sound confident, intelligent, and persuasive. Tone sets the mood. A calm, steady tone conveys authority and control, while a rushed or monotonous voice can make even brilliant ideas fall flat. Speed is equally important. Speaking too quickly overwhelms your listeners, too slowly, and you risk losing their interest. The key is rhythm, matching your speed to the message and the audience's energy. Then there's the magic of pauses. Silence is a speaker's secret weapon. A well-timed pause gives your listeners a moment to absorb your words, adds emphasis, and creates suspense. Think of it as punctuation you can hear. Pause too long, and you lose momentum. Pause strategically, and you command attention. Consider a political speech. A well-known politician asks a powerful question, then stops. The audience waits. And then, with perfect timing, delivers the answer. The room erupts in applause. That pause wasn't empty, it was deliberate, calculated, and unforgettable. Mastering tone, speed, and pauses isn't about acting or performing. It's about enhancing your natural speech so that your ideas land with maximum impact. When you combine clear words with the right vocal rhythm, people not only understand you, they remember you. Speaking smartly is not just about giving information, it's about connecting with your audience through stories. Humans are wired to remember stories far better than facts or statistics. A well-told story can turn a simple idea into something unforgettable. Consider a professor teaching a complex concept in economics. Instead of launching into graphs and formulas, she begins with a short story about a small cafe owner struggling to manage supply and demand. The students immediately relate to the real-life scenario. By the end of the lesson, they not only understand the theory, they remember it for years. That is the power of storytelling. Stories create emotion, and emotion makes communication sticky. A short, vivid story can convey multiple layers of meaning in a way that plain statements never can. Even CEOs use this technique. Think about a product launch. Instead of explaining technical specifications, they tell a story about how the product changed one customer's life. The audience isn't just informed, they're inspired, engaged, and invested. The trick is brevity and relevance. Your story doesn't need to be long or elaborate. 1 or 2 minutes, focused on a single point, is enough to make your message resonate. Use real examples, personal experiences, or metaphors your audience can relate to. In short, smart speakers aren't just conveyors of information, they are storytellers. When you pair clarity, precise vocabulary, and confident delivery with a compelling story, your audience listens, remembers, and respects what you say. Storytelling transforms ordinary speech into a powerful tool that makes your ideas unforgettable. Even the most confident speaker faces moments of pressure, unexpected questions, challenging debates, or difficult interviews. Speaking smartly doesn't mean having all the answers immediately. It means knowing how to navigate these situations with composure and intelligence. One essential technique is buying time. When asked a tough question, instead of panicking, you can say, "That's a great question. Let me think for a moment." This short pause not only gives you a chance to organize your thoughts but also signals confidence to your audience. Silence, when used deliberately, is a powerful tool. Consider a college debate where a student is suddenly asked to defend an unpopular position. Rather than rushing into a flustered response, she takes a breath, acknowledges the challenge, and begins with a short, relevant anecdote. Her answer is measured, clear, and persuasive. The audience, initially skeptical, ends up impressed. That single moment of thoughtful response turns a potentially embarrassing situation into a demonstration of smart, strategic communication. Another key principle is framing your answer. Even if you lack complete information, you can show insight by addressing the question logically, citing experience, or presenting a thoughtful perspective. Avoid bluffing with complex words or filler phrases. Clarity trumps verbosity every time. Handling tough situations is about more than surviving the moment, it's about enhancing your credibility. Smart speakers turn pressure into an opportunity, showing composure, critical thinking, and emotional intelligence. When you can answer the unexpected with calm, clarity, and confidence, people don't just hear you, they respect and remember you. Speaking smartly isn't a talent you're born with, it's a skill you develop through deliberate practice. Like any skill, it improves when you train consistently, reflect on your progress, and experiment with new techniques. One of the simplest yet most effective exercises is recording yourself. Speak on a topic for 1 to 2 minutes, then play it back. You'll notice filler words, awkward pauses, or unclear phrasing that might slip past in real time. Over time, repeated recordings help you internalize clarity, pace, and tone, creating a more polished delivery. Another powerful method is speaking in front of a mirror. This may feel silly at first, but it trains your confidence, body language, and facial expressions, critical elements that make words feel convincing. Joining groups like Toastmasters or local discussion clubs provides a live audience for practice. The feedback you receive, combined with repeated exposure to real speaking situations, sharpens your ability to respond quickly and clearly. Finally, focus on learning phrases, not just single words. Phrases give context, improve fluency, and help your speech flow naturally. For example, instead of memorizing the word assist, practice phrases like "I'd be happy to assist with that project." Consistent practice transforms nervous, hesitant English speakers into smart communicators. The key is patience and persistence. Small daily efforts accumulate into confident, articulate, and compelling speech that naturally impresses others. Speaking smartly in English isn't just about grammar or vocabulary, it's also about cultural perception. In the United States, sounding intelligent often hinges on attitude, clarity, and authenticity rather than trying to impress with complicated words or over-polished speech. Americans tend to respect speakers who are confident, concise, and approachable, not those who come across as pretentious or showy. Understanding this cultural nuance can make a huge difference in professional and social interactions. For example, using simple, precise language while maintaining steady eye contact signals credibility and self-assurance. Overly formal or excessively complex language, however, can backfire, making a speaker seem distant or even fake. Consider a scenario in a meeting. One employee carefully selects long, complex words to impress the boss, while another speaks in clear, simple sentences, punctuated with genuine enthusiasm. Surprisingly, it's often the simpler speaker who earns trust and respect, because their communication is transparent and relatable. To sound smart to Americans, focus on clarity, confidence, and context. Avoid unnecessary jargon, speak naturally, and let your personality show. Confidence is communicated not through big words but through poise, thoughtful phrasing, and the ability to listen and respond appropriately. Ultimately, cultural awareness bridges the gap between speaking correctly and speaking effectively. By adapting your style to American expectations, you not only sound smart, you make your ideas memorable and persuasive. Speaking smartly in English is not about impressing others with complex vocabulary or flawless grammar. It's about communicating clearly, concisely, and confidently, while adapting your style to the context and audience. From choosing the right words, using effective pauses, and telling compelling stories, to handling tough questions with poise and practicing consistently, every small step contributes to how others perceive your intelligence and credibility. Cultural awareness also plays a crucial role. In the US, being smart means being approachable, authentic, and confident, rather than overly polished or pretentious. By combining clarity, precision, tone, and cultural insight, you can make your ideas memorable, persuasive, and respected. Remember, speaking smartly is a skill anyone can develop with practice. It's not about perfection, it's about impact. The next time you speak English, focus on making your words count, engaging your audience, and showing confidence through simplicity. The next time you speak English, remember, it's not about sounding perfect. It's about sounding smart.